coming up next
I take my
on the
hats off to
Inherited
parents
Podcast.
who have individuals on any spectrum, whether it's dementia, whether it's Down syndrome, autism. Those parents deserve an extra bag of flowers because being a so-called regular parent is hard, but having a child on the spectrum, that shit ain't easy. It's tough. I know parents that have been evicted out of their houses and apartments because people complain because their child is making noise. They can't talk, but they can scream, they can shout. That's how they verbalize. At that young age, my mom used to always ask me, not to kind of go off track, but do you want to get tested? And I didn't know what that meant. And she's like, do you feel like you have a learning inability? And I was like, I don't want to do that because, kids aren't nice. I don't want to be bullied. I don't want to be talked about. But now growing up, I'm like, damn, I should have definitely took advantage of that. Just because I feel like that would have helped a lot with my mental and being able to feel free and know that it's okay to be different. It's okay to have a different superpower and a gift. It's okay to realize that you learn different. And the mental health hospital I worked at, the kids go to school there and they live there 24/7 until it's time for them to discharge, which is like a prison. It's time for you to leave. Your time is up. So you're here for a certain amount of treatment time, and if you don't improve, you're going to be here longer. If you do improve, you can go home. You can go to foster care, or you can go to group home. And
building a legacy, so watch how you study me. You know it's inherited, ain't no comparison, stacking up guaranteed. Moving so militant, consistent and disciplined. Getting that paper and stacking it up, no time for no chilling, man. Building a legacy, so watch how you study me. You know it's inherited, ain't no comparison, stacking up guaranteed. Moving so militant, consistent and disciplined.
Yo, what's good? It's Sir Gates. You're now tuned to the Inherited Podcast. Thank y'all for coming back again week after week for another episode of the Inherited Podcast. Hope everybody doing well. Hope you're having a blessed day. But look again today, another dope guest waiting for another dope episode. Today, we have Mr. Shannon Estrin, man, a very multifaceted person, all right? Author, autism specialist, mental health, behavioral coach. He got a lot of sides to his life, so we're gonna dive right in and get to know him, get his backstory, and bring a whole lot of value to this conversation. So how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, man. I'm blessed. I'm super excited to be here, man. If only y'all can see what I'm looking at inside this inside the Gate Studio, man. This is something elegant and real professional, man. Like, not too many. I haven't seen too many like it, man. You would think this is something on Hollywood or something out of a movie, dog. Like, this is amazing. I'm super blessed and honored to be here, man, and just ready to share my story, man. So
yes, sir. So again, just like backstory to podcast, right? Give all my guests kind of breakdown. So Inherited Podcast, and my vision for it and my purpose for it is, my goal is to always bring as much value as I can to the audience who's watching. Maybe it's an older person, younger person, no matter what their background is at. Everybody needs some kind of motivation, right? And I still do believe, and the reason why I asked about origin stories, because your past, whether it's good, bad, trials, tribulations, your trauma, somebody else could have experienced it, but may not have gotten to the point where they can say, hey, I can still get up and do something about my life. So your testimony could be their deliverance. So that's why I like to dig into getting that personal story, and not so much just about the glitz, the glam, all the highlights. Like, I like this for people to get to know the real person behind the mic, not I'm in front of the camera, this who I am. So so that's the goal of the pod. So we're gonna hop right into it. But I always started off with a icebreaker question, right?
Okay.
So I'm gonna ask you the question, you answer, and I'm gonna answer as well.
Okay,
so
let's do it.
The question for today is, and it's dealing with legacy building. What does legacy mean to you, and how are you actively working to build one that lasts beyond your lifetime?
Legacy building to me is, man, running your marathon at your own pace, leaving your mark in this world, being the voice for the voiceless, being able to move and being the people for the people who need the extra support. I'm in a giving service. I feel like I was placed here, for a purpose and a reason. And my legacy is people, when I do leave this earth, is leaving it 10 times better than what it is, because as we know, in 2025, the year just started, we're already dealing with a lot of trauma and traumatic things going on. And we need to make this world a better, healthier place in order to create a legacy. And in order to create a legacy for that individual, you have to know yourself, love yourself, and heal while you're here on this earth.
Facts. I love that one right there. For real.
Yeah, man.
So for myself, like, to me, legacy kind of bounce on what you're saying, is what you're leaving behind. But it's not the tangible part. Like, the tangible part to me is the inheritance. Yeah. But you can still inherit other things not tangible. But the legacy is just that, what do people have to say about what you've done in your lifetime? What character. Can your family, once you're long gone, can say, hey, my papa, my grandpa, he or my dad this is what he set up for us to continue for our bloodline, our last name.
Right.
And as far as like what I'm doing to leave a lasting legacy, I'm pretty much understanding that I'm not so much living for myself. I'm living for generations that's coming behind me.
Yeah.
And I know and realize that if I'm aware of how I grew up, what my family lacked and didn't have, I'll be a fool if God bless me with children, nieces and nephews, whomever, to allow them to go through the same thing.
For sure.
So realizing that and that kind of being my why every day, no matter if I'm tired, sick, not feeling well, I got to get this stuff done for the generation coming behind me, because I do not want them to have to start from zero. It's always, I mean, of course, the get it out the mud storyline is always attractive, but it's like at some point,
everybody don't go through that.
Exactly.
And everybody don't get it from the mud. Everybody get it from a sandbox. Everybody get it from your silver spoon at your house. Everybody get it from your 3-bedroom house. Like, yeah, we're gonna get into that, because as an educator and as a leader in a coach working with a lot of youth from all walks of life, you ain't gotta be no dope boy to have money, as T.I. said. Like, everybody does not get it from the mud.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody does not come from a single parent or traumatized community.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people have 2 parents in the household, or no, a lot of people come from a single parent household and are great individuals and never been in jail, never been arrested. Don't do these things that these rappers talk about in their music that they don't really do anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we can take this a
we
whole
gonna
way.
have
You
a good
feel me?
convo today, man.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, so that's just the gist of it, man. Just knowing like that narrative, like I said, it does not have to be for everyone. Like everyone may have their struggles, but just knowing you don't have to go that way, don't do it. But that's what legacy is to me. And again, that's how I'm going day by day as far as fulfilling that. So, but for you, right? Man. I want people to get to know you, get to know who you are, your background, like your origin story from the beginning. So if you can just get the audience your origin story from how you grew up, childhood, your household, family, just experiences, I guess, till time now, to where we at now.
All right. What's up, y'all? My name is Shannon. I'm 29. I'm born and raised in California. I just relocated here into Atlanta, Georgia. So a little bit about me that most people don't know. When they look at me, they can't tell. I was born a preemie. I was one of the top 5 preemies in the nation. I was 1 pound, 8 ounces, fully blind, with a 10% chance of living. And the doctors told my parents if I was to live by the age of 5, I'd be mentally and physically disabled. And I know that I am neurodiverse. I know I have a so-called disability. I have a superpower and a gift. But I've never taken the time to get tested because I never complained. I'm big on superpowers and gifts and not labels, and I've always used that as my motivation to get to where I am now. But kind of backtrack a little bit. So I have 1, 2, 3. I have four siblings. I got 4 siblings. I come from a blended family. I was just telling the fellas, before we started, I've come from a biracial family. I'm Black, Jewish, and mixed with a little bit of everything else in there. And I come from a middle class, blessed family. I didn't grow up in the hood. I have family that, I have family from South Central Compton. Grew up in the hood, but I wasn't surrounded about that. I was surrounded by love, positivity. I never went out without having a meal. I never went out, without not having clothes on my back. I've always been blessed. I've always had the things I wanted. My mom was able to provide for me. My dad, my step-parents at the time were able to provide for me. I've always been that positive male role model, I would say. I had to grow up early a little bit. I'm the oldest of 4. And, yeah, man, let me see. Got a long story, but let's see.
Hey, if you have a long one, it's gonna
I
have
went
some value.
I moved around a little bit from California to Georgia when my mom got divorced, and we found our ways in 2008 here in Atlanta, Georgia, and I was miserable. I didn't want to be here. Didn't know nobody. It was country, slow. No, I'm coming from California, and the city I'm from is called the Inland Empire, in particularly Fontana or Rancho Cucamonga, California, and it's diverse. It's different. We move fast. We're about 30 minutes east of LA, and during that transition, I was out here in Atlanta. I went to an all-black private school called Wilson Academy, and I played basketball. Basketball was my first love and passion before I transitioned to play football. But I just made myself miserable. I didn't want to be here. I was doing anything to get back home. And my senior year, well, hold on, backtrack. So I went to Wilson Academy out here, went to North Atlanta, then I went to Shiloh. And those 3 years, it was hell. Like, everything else around me was great, but I gave myself an excuse to, like, I don't want to be here. I'm not from here. This is country. It's the South. I'm a city boy. And at that time, my mom was like, all right, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to go back and forth with you. She let me move back to California my senior year. But on that, I could not go to a public school. I could only go to a private or charter school, court order, because California, is very gang populated, and my mom was afraid that I would join the wrong crowd. But I've always been my own person, so I never really had the time or day to kind of fall into the negativity. So I did my senior year in California, and I stayed out there for college. I did my undergrad at Chapman University. I keep forgetting pieces. So
It's all good.
I went to junior college. I went to junior college for 2.5 years. I played football there, and then I transferred to my university, which is Chapman University, and I got my bachelor's in education and disability studies, and then I got my master's at University of Laverne in inclusion and special education. And then after that, I was taking care of my grandfather as a caregiver on my dad's side before he transitioned, and in the midst of that, I was finishing my master's program, and it was a lot. Mentally, emotionally, I felt like I was being pulled every way. I was paying $1,800 for a studio in California while living 3 hours away at my grandparents' place, taking care of my grandfather, helping my grandma full time, and in school, finishing my master's program. So I felt like I was being drained. I didn't have the backbone I needed because my dad has his family, and mind you, my dad lived 10 minutes away, but he has a family, so I didn't want to look like I needed him at all times. He had my stepmom and my little sister, and then my mom's already out here in Georgia with my brother, so I was trying to help my grandma and stand on my own too, and kind of support my grandfather during his transition. And it was a tough battle. He fought a good fight. He had Parkinson's dementia, and during that time he transitioned Thanksgiving break, and I'm gonna say 3 or 4 months went by after his transition, and I finished my master's program in 2022, and I moved here to Georgia, and I didn't look back. Yeah, man. So
Jesus, man.
I've been here for 3 years now. I've been a special ed teacher at a mental health hospital, and I'm currently a mental health clinician / therapist at Grady Hospital, man. So I'm excited to be here. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah,
let's get to it, man. I know that was
like,
a lot, dog.
Yeah, but it seems like from your story at an early age and even till now, you had a lot placed on your shoulders. And
not knowing that I did, but I did.
Yeah, but you stood the test of time, though. Like trying to help out with your granddad, seeing your parents split and divorce. And I guess I could say a lot of that is a lot of well, you could probably consider it trauma mentally, though.
For sure.
Like on the mental part, not so much physical or environmental.
I would say mental and emotional.
Yeah,
sure.
So mentally and emotionally, right? So just like for myself, and I tell people this as well, and we kind of before off camera spoke about it. You could grow up in a household with both parents. You can grow up in a household with one parent. Like when I was younger, that kind of meant something different to me. It was either like, okay, if you got 2 parents, you're great. If you got 1, something wrong. So, but when I got older, what I learned was I had 2 parents in the household, but it wasn't great.
Yeah.
Like they stayed married nonetheless, but it was like we were trying to survive day after day after day. And I seen some people who had a 1-parent household and everything was just peachy. They was love, this and that. But so seeing the way you grew up and dealing with all those trials and tribulations, and our main topic here, and I love to talk about it myself, is mental health. If you can remember or just live in that moment and be in that moment, how did you process and did it affect you from a mental standpoint?
At that time, so my mom and my dad were never married. They met when they were in their teens and had me and split up. My mom got married to my brother's dad for 13, 14 years, got divorced, moved out here, got married to my high school football coach. Married for like 3 or 4 years, got divorced again. My mom just got engaged New Year's Eve this year. New Year's Eve, 3rd time is a charm. And I love my mom to death, but seeing that at that time, I wasn't a fan. Looking back on it as a man now, and this is not to badmouth anybody, there's a lot of different people in my life and my childhood upbringing. And you know, we all have different partners as we grow as men, as adults. So therefore, I can't fault my mom for that, because she was a young mom. She was learning as she went, and she was trying to find her person that matched her energy. My mom's a dog. She been in real estate game for 30 years, so but she been doing her own like that. So I learned my hustle and my lingo on that from my mom. But seeing that, I would say it affected my mental. Now, looking back, I didn't know what it did. But yeah, like seeing people come from 2-parent households, and then seeing me, you know, coming from one household and going to another, and then seeing my dad on the weekend. I thought I had it good and it was great. Everything was amazing. But then as I got older, I realized I had issues as far as me wanting to build a healthy relationship with my dad. My dad was there, but he wasn't there, if that makes sense. You're present, but you're not present. Because he had his things and trials and tribulations and demons he had to battle with him and during that time. So therefore, I was kind of left with that extra trauma. It was definitely tough. You know, I felt like I had to be my brother's dad all the time. I felt like I had to be a man at 13, 14. Not really bossing around. At the time, it was bossing around, but trying to delegate and do things in the household, staying at home while my mom's at work. Yeah, and it was definitely tough because I was battling things within myself.
Yeah.
And knowing that, especially in school, knowing that, you know, I've always had great grades, but I learned different. I'm not the type to sit here and talk all day and listen to you talk to me for 2 hours. I'm not going to retain information.
Man.
At that, young age, my mom used to always ask me, not to kind of go off track, but do you want to get tested? And I didn't know what that meant. And she was like, do you feel like you have a learning inability? And I was like, I don't want to do that because, kids aren't nice. I didn't want to be bullied. I didn't want to be talked about. But now growing up, I'm like, damn, I should have definitely took advantage of that. Just because I feel like that would have helped a lot with my mental and being able to feel free and know that it's okay to be different. It's okay to have a different superpower and a gift. It's okay to realize that you learn different. Everyone is not a one-way learner. You have a hands-on, kinesthetic, auditorial, visual, Being on a podcast, that's a visual type learner. You're able to be behind a camera and talk through a lens. You're able to talk through a mic. You're able to do things with technology and also be hands-on. So I feel like that right there plays a lot in a young man's mental growth, is knowing who they are, knowing their self-identity, knowing how they learn, and then as far as parents knowing their child, knowing their child's techniques, how that child learns. It starts in the household, man. Yeah. And I have a quote that I live by, and I will argue anybody to the teeth with this. You're not a product of your environment. You're a product of the decisions you make within that environment.
I like that.
Like I said earlier, I'm from the West Coast of California, and all hoods across the world, probably the same thing, but you got drugs, you got liquor stores in every corner, you got people gangbanging and doing this and doing that. My thing is, we're in 2025, why do we have people still selling drugs, still selling dope when weed is legal in most states? Why do we still have people killing and shooting and all these young kids thinking that they got to go, hit a lick and do this and do that? For what, dog? Like, no one put a gun in your head and made you, do these things. And if they did, then come holler at me. If you did, that means you need to change your environment. If they did, that means you need to come talk to somebody. Let a teacher know. Let a police officer know. Let a real authority figure in the community know. Not a big homie, not someone. We got to change the narrative, man. Like, there's no reason that we as a black community and as a culture should be failing. We're already dealing with the presidency, of this world. We're already dealing with the things on our shoulders of us being black individuals in America. Like, we got to do better for these babies and for these kids. And it starts within your household. And if you're a parent or you're someone that deals with kids and you don't know, ask for help. It's okay. You don't have to be so egotistical and prideful to ask for help. Yeah,
and two things you said that kind of coincide that caught my ear. One, about it starting at home in the household. And two, it's the decisions you make. And I'm real big about the decision part as well. Because it's just the household part. It's like, I guess as generations grew and grew and grew, now a lot of parents now, I'm not a parent, but I'm just speaking on it from from what I perceive, right? Yeah. A lot of parents are more worried about and caring about, I want to be the cool parent or your
I want to be my friend.
Yeah. I want to be your friend versus parenting first. Because you got to understand, when a kid starts school before they go out, even include college, but from K through 12, right? That child is out of your mind, out of your sight for 8 to 9 hours a day.
They with the teacher more than they are with you, unfortunately, and people don't realize that.
That's a big,
after school programs,
and it's like you really have minimal time to raise your kids how you want to because they're in another environment in that system. So by the time they get home, whether you have a full-time job or not, once they get home, it turns into either you're tired,
you want to decompress,
you got more work to do, you got to decompress,
you gotta cook,
so
get
then
showers ready.
Go to your room or go outside, do your homework. I don't want to
So
be
therefore, you got
now.
another 3 or 4 hours that you still didn't see your child. You still need to sit down and have that intimate time with your child because you cooking dinner, you got to get a shower. You're doing things that as a parent so-called should do instead of taking the time to build that intimacy with your child.
Exactly, and that's what a lot of kids are missing. Like
they're missing that love, that real nourishment.
There we go.
That tough love, that coddling, affection. Like it's okay. And I know I'm kind of rambling, but
you good.
I'm big, especially young black men. I'm big on men crying. I don't care if you're gay, straight, or indifferent, homie. It's okay for you to cry. It's okay to express yourself because at the end of the day, if we don't, this shit is gonna bottle up and it's gonna eat you alive, and you're going to
probably the wrong
outburst.
way.
You're gonna have an outburst in the wrong manner. And at the end of the day, the world we do live in, if a law enforcement officer sees that, if you have community members see that, so a lot of people don't know how to handle that, don't know how to engage with that, don't know how to de-escalate that situation. So therefore, in a household, when you have a mom and dad, or one parent or not, or grandparents, whomever, give these children that love that they deserve. Give these children the love that you didn't have. Give them that understanding that it's okay to cry, it's okay to express, it's okay to talk. It's okay to, not be fully there. It's okay to have mental problems, but you have to know how to deal with them. It's okay to go to therapy.
Yep. And as well, like with that and compared to the inside the household and decisions, I think a lot of kids, people in general now, more so, of course, young generation, but those decisions, I think they lack the knowledge to understand that decisions come with consequences. I think they don't understand the consequences part. Yeah. They'll rather figure that out after the fact versus thinking about it beforehand. Like, okay, because I wasn't the best kid growing up, but I understood consequences. Like I knew
you had a sense of fear. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. People are afraid to say that word now, but it's fear. I'm not saying whoop your kid or beat your kid, but it was a case out here maybe 2 or 3 months ago. It was a house robbery, and a young man basically quoted that his big homie told him to go break into this house, and he feared him more than he feared his mama. Therefore, you're not worried about no consequence. You don't fear the people at home. Us in here, I fear my mama. I fear my dad. When my dad talk, I still get a little like, okay. When my mama, I not fear your parents like I'm scared of you, but it's you put boundaries and morals and values, and you have a real character, and they set those boundaries. My mama's not my friend, ain't my homie. Yeah, we play, we joke, we might have a drink because I'm grown now, but when I was a child, I was scared, but I wasn't scared.
You was a child.
I was a child. I'm staying in a child's place.
Yeah.
I'm not out here trying to be grown and be fast and do things that I have no business doing I would end up in jail or dead. Because a gun don't have no age limit. It don't have no name on it.
Nope. And now kids are being tried as adults. And a whole lot of states are passing those bills to where...
Especially with this new election, it's finna be some laws changing, unfortunately.
It's going to get crazy.
I advise y'all to stay in the house or stay on your front porch and in your backyard as a child. Don't let social media and these music videos and all that fool you, man. Like, it's getting tricky out here. And just be a kid. Stay in a kid's place. When an authority figure is trying to give you, a teacher, a coach, a mentor, parent is trying to guide you the proper way, take that. Don't fight back. Don't combat. Don't have to talk back. And you're not my mama, you're not my dad. They might be doing way better than your parents are doing. Unfortunately,
you gotta drop that ego. That's what
I mean. Put that ego aside.
You gotta drop that. Because when I was out in California, I had interviewed 3 guys, and shout out to the Reentry Network podcast and TV Jobs. So what they do in that program, they take formerly incarcerated people and get them back into the society. Yeah. But the 3 individuals I interviewed, and their stories were crazy. And like when it comes to the environment decisions, that was their kind of main stripes. It was like, one, of course, the parents kind of weren't there, but it was when I was outside, the big homie was outside, and at home really wasn't home. So I just succumbed to
They had that big homie had what he wanted. Girls, fashion, cars, whatever you see, money, easy money, like, yeah, for sure.
And they was doing all the passing and stuff like that. And one person, he ended up going to jail for murder. The other one, it was two brothers. One of them got shot. The other one, and he didn't get shot, but they were still kind of in the same riffraff. But it was just because they wanted to join that lifestyle and wanted what it came with.
Yeah.
That's what they ended up with. But it's good to see now all three of them, the mindset has shifted.
Changed their life.
You can still see it in them because it was in it for a long time.
Yeah.
Which I can understand.
But it's not necessarily. It's not who they are now. It's their past. It's not really on them like it used to be.
Yeah.
Like back then, you can see it on them, bro. Even if you're in them. But now it's probably dissected because they've grown, they've matured.
Yep.
They're able to see like, okay, ain't nothing in these streets, man.
And they seen them consequences.
Yeah,
one of them did. They seen them consequences.
That's a real consequence. Like y'all don't want to see. Y'all want to get the consequences as a child before you see that consequence. Before you see the inside of a pen or a jail, you don't want to see that consequence. You want to see that belt, fist, or whatever. Like a pop on the wrist, something like. That's the consequence y'all need. And I work with a lot of kids, black, blue in the face. A lot of these kids are bad as hell. Like. It starts with the parents. Therefore, when I meet your parent, I see your parent talk, interact, I can't fault you. But when you come in my presence, in my classroom, or on my field or basketball court, whatever, I'm gonna set a boundary and a violation and a standard that you're a child. I'm the coach. I'm a teacher. I'm whomever. I'm gonna talk to you with respect. You can talk to me with respect. If you talk to me like a nigga on the street, that'd be a different conversation. But we're gonna set these boundaries and guidelines to where this is how things be approached. A young man and young woman, this is how you should be treated, and vice versa. At the end of the day, everyone should be treated with respect. And if you don't know how to treat someone with respect, have that person, you got to teach that person sometimes. Some people, and it's not always going to be your parents, and y'all have to understand that.
And it's crazy that you just said that. When you said you can look at somebody's parent, and of course you get that conclusion there. We had a guest on, her name, shout out to Isla. She does, like, it deals with mental health in children, and one thing she had said was, she was in a school and she seen a parent come in with a child. The child was, of course, late after the bell or whatever it was, but the parent was yelling at the child and
instead of them taking accountability and responsibility.
Yeah, but it's
the
like
child don't drive.
It's a child. You expect that child to, like you say, drive here to really understand
ready
waking up on time.
Yeah, like
come
on
and
now.
that. But you sitting here yelling at the child, and then you're mad once you get a phone call about the behavior of the child, but you started the presence of their day with anger, with yelling, and now the child is acting out at school.
That's called learned behavior. That behavior is learned from you. It's stemming from you as the parent. You might not think it is because everyone say, "Oh, that behavior." Your behavior starts at home. Your behavior starts from the people you're surrounded by. Positive behavior or negative behavior. That negative behavior was stimulated from that parent. Unfortunately,
and kids, they're like a sponge, man. They're
gonna soak it up. They are the impression, but they're gonna soak that game up. Good, bad, or indifferent. They're gonna take it all.
Yep. Especially if you're not teaching them
the right way
from wrong, and this and that. So it's like, what do you?
And you're not teaching them no discipline. You're not teaching them to be fair. Like they're gonna go out here and do what they think they can do and do what they want. And at the end, when you do what you want, you're not afraid of nobody, the law included.
But they gonna find out sooner or later. But so like having said all that, right? So when it comes to, again, we should stick on the mental health topic
For sure.
Because as far as my mental health journey, when I was in the military, not saying I was perfect before I went.
I can get that from you. I can feel that from you by your posture, by you carry yourself.
Really?
And then a lot of cats, I don't know why, but a lot of cats, even after certain colors they wear, including like even your wedding pictures, it was green. Like it's a green, it's a brown. I know it's winter, but a lot of cats that I've met in the military, they stick with those colors.
I don't know what it is.
I don't know
man,
if it's and they don't ever see it. Like, damn, I never thought of it that way. But I feel like it might be like a routine thing, a structure to where it looks elegant and professional. I don't know because I picked it up. I'm like, I wonder if he's done any like time or service.
It's crazy because I kid you not. You're the second person within 4 days. I was in class and the young lady tapped me. She was like, "You in the military?" I said, "Yeah, how do you know?" Because I go by my last name. She was like, "No, it was just X, Y, and Z." I'm like, I didn't even notice. I'm like, how can you tell?
What you do in the military?
Field artillery. So I was a 13 Mike, driving a rocket launcher. Well, I guess you can call it that, but shooting missiles like that. So it was field artillery. But
how many years did you do that?
Did my 3 and got up out of there, man.
And you got your full benefits? As you should.
That's all I needed.
Yeah.
So, but it,
how was that for your mental health?
So my story with that, right? Coming from Decatur, not far from Ellenwood.
Right.
Growing up, I was always outside, but again, I knew consequences.
Where you go to high school?
MLK.
I live literally a block from MLK.
Word.
When did you graduate?
2010.
Okay, I had a couple cats. I used to work at a car wash off of Candler Road. They went to MLK. They older than me. They think they're in their 30s, 32. They play football. First dude's name is Shannon. Same name, kind of curls. He I want to say.
So I'm good with faces.
Okay,
names,
okay.
Some names, yeah, but I probably would have known them. But coming from that area, right, growing up in Decatur, when I grew up, of course, like I said, I had new consequences, but everybody I hung with is total opposite. But my friend group knew that Gates had a thin line. Like they knew for a fact certain things
just can't happen.
I wasn't doing certain things. I may ride with you on that mission there, but they understood those, and because I made it clear and moved like that, they knew I wasn't being lame or scared. It was just that's who he is. But because of those certain things, I was outside. Yeah, at one point in my life, I sold drugs. One point in my life, I kicked in the door before. Like it was growing up in the streets of Decatur. And then getting to high school, graduating, never liked school, then getting a job at the airport, 725, I didn't want to do it. So I was at that point in my life to where, what is really next?
Right.
The next best thing for me, go to the service. But being uprooted from that lifestyle and dropped into a real strict and ordered disciplined lifestyle, it was a culture shock to me. I believe it. Not even for the people, it was just the environment. So going through that for 3 years, knowing every morning I have to wake up at this same time,
your bed up
and
a certain way,
no choice. Doing basic training, being taunted. Like my first day there, we were sleep deprived for 2 days. Didn't sleep for 2 days. So I mean,
they didn't let y'all sleep for 2 days?
No. Going through the whole intake process, we were up. Like if you were nodding off, you getting yelled at to wake up. Like you may get your little 3 minutes if they don't see you, but as soon as you call,
and that 3 minutes probably felt like life, boy. I'm like, no, because I be not dozed off sometimes. I'd be chilling. I'm like, damn, I feel like I was asleep for hours, but I'm gonna sleep for like a minute or two. Yeah,
it was just so stuff like that, and they had things called like fuck games. We would be up all day, get in our barracks, and go to sleep around.
Did you say fuck games?
That's what they call it.
Okay,
they call them fuck games. I mean, if you was in the service, you know what I'm talking about.
All right.
You maybe go to bed when you're done from training around 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night. You already dog tired. You knocked out maybe around 2 o'clock that morning. All lights cut on, nothing but banging, throwing beds.
While you sleep? Or you can't sleep no more, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, you woke now because you shocked. Like your body is like, what's going on? What's going on?
How'd that Decatur in you come? Did it come out a few times? Because
like
I said, I would have been a little scrappy.
It snaps back real quick once you realize who in your face and this and that. So, so stuff like that, it was just like mentally disturbing because it's just a human being in general. You really shouldn't be surprised out of your sleep like that. But the reason why, it was preparing you for war. You could be in your foxhole and the bomb go off. So boom. But just that mental trauma over and over and over. And then just like sometimes when we was in permanent party, on our base, it was like a low water rising to where when it's not raining, it's cool. When it rains, it rises up. Somebody got drunk, thought it was cool to drive past it. Their car got swept. Now they gone. So having to look for a dead body. It's just certain stuff like that. It was just like, man, this is mentally
how old
taunting.
Were you?
I went to the service. I was like 22, 23.
Oh, damn. Okay. So you was an adult. That shit different. When especially like, cats are 17, 18, but at that age, that hit a little different too, especially on your mental. Yeah,
man. So it was just so much of doing that and then just knowing no matter what, once I sign that contract, I have to do what these people tell me to do. Yeah. Or you don't have to, but if you get kicked out, dishonorable discharge, then your life is screwed. So, but once I got out and knowing what my job was, shooting rockets, it couldn't transfer to nothing in Atlanta. Like, where am I going to do that at here? Only thing that transferred was the discipline, the knowledge, and the leadership.
What about law enforcement?
Well, I mean, I could have done that, but it just wasn't an interest. Before I went, I wanted to be the CSI. So do something like that. But all that kind of changed when I had my experience in the military. I was like, man, I don't want to do none of that. Never do in my life. Right. But so getting out and knowing it was just what's my next move, and I had limited option because of my resume. My last job was military, cool, but the specifics shooting rockets. So it was just like I'm stuck. So I was mentally just out of it. I had times of depression. I had times of just anxiety, and then I took advantage of wanting to see a therapist.
Right,
so
for sure.
at that point, everything changed. So it was just to the point of where I finally had the right person to ask me the right questions to allow me to realize, like, oh, okay, I see it from this perspective. I see why this may be this and that. And they even diagnosed me with then it was like displacement disorder.
Okay.
Because I was pulled from all this other stuff here and thrown something different and put back into it.
Right.
Trying to adjust was crazy, but it had a mental toll. But I took it upon myself to know for a fact I want better for myself and I'm going to do the work. And I knew a part of that work was.
How long did it take you to get there, though?
As far as like coming on the other side of that?
Yeah. Or while you were in that, like, you know, did you indulge in things to get your mind right or ease your body or.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Because growing up, I used to smoke all the time. So stuff like that, I was still doing that. But like growing up, it was more of a recreational thing for sure. Excuse me. But I seen that slowed down. Okay. So I turned to meditation. I turned to the therapy. I turned to letting me find a quiet space to sit and think, hear nature and clear my mind and different sounds and stuff like that. Sometimes I still did smoke, but it slowly died and died and died and died. Yeah. But like it took maybe a good year for me to make a good transition to where I'm in a position to know my personal development is key, and that's what I'm focused on here. For sure. From here on out. And ever since then, that's how I just been growing until I am today. Just knowing like there's another side to the downside, and I can see it and grasp onto it. Yeah. It just helped me out 10 times, man. Like it was beautiful for me, man.
That's real, man. Appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah,
that's big right there.
And that's why I love the topic of mental health, because I've been through it. And I see people who was been in my shoes. Man, I haven't been to the service, but I can tell, like, man.
Mental health coming in all different forms, shapes, and sizes.
I'm telling you.
I've got a quick question because I'm curious. Going through that service, dealing with your personal mental health and trauma, coming back, how do you feel about systems now? As far as the way schools are set up, prisons set up, military set up, you being a black male in society. Because I'm like that plays a toll on us, I would say.
So my thought, maybe cliche, but it's a system. Like the way it's set up, it's meant to have a specific outcome for those individuals. And some of the ways they are set up is going to always create a negative outcome. Right. Even for school, it's like, okay, cool, this is a place for education, but the whole No Child Left Behind program, sometime like that, it's certain nuances that's in these systems to where you're not going to prevail or get what you need to succeed. Even like some things of what we're being taught, even like in schools, as far as not being taught financial literacy. Like why are we not taught financial literacy, but y'all teaching us to go to school, get an education and get a degree, and I'm left with debt. Or we get out the service and I can't get a job. Yep. I don't have any skills, no tangible skills, because I've been shooting rockets or I've been doing this, doing that. But y'all want us to go to school and get a degree so we can better ourselves when I got homies that back home making $100,000 legally or illegally. With no paperwork. Yeah. And now I'm in school. I got a master's degree and I can't make over $70,000. Yeah. Now, so these systems, it's like they're
not built for us,
because we're in America. It's a capitalist country. The systems fit that system
for sure.
Making this money, doing this cycle of course, going to college. That debt, it's all about that money. How many people do you really believe gonna accumulate $100,000 in debt and be able to pay it back before they die, if they don't get that job from that field of study they were in? So it's like some systems, if it's properly done right, cool, but most of them I'm more of a be taught what you need to be taught and retain that and move forward.
Now. Yeah.
So everything, all the extra stuff and all the fluff is just to make the system look good, and it's a part of that process. Even like the penitentiary system. Yeah. Majority of them are not getting rehabilitated at all. What do you think is going to happen? You put somebody on a hard-ass bed, cold food,
cold-ass floor and walls.
They're going to turn into a monster. Like another guy, Eric, he's from California. He was in the system. He said the same thing. He went in for, he was sentenced to, I want to say, 80 years to life for a robbery, but he got out. That's a guy, he got out. But he said the same thing. When what he seen in there was y'all say y'all want to rehabilitate me, but when I'm going through, it's making me worse. It's turning me into a dog.
Turn him into a dog, a demon, like for real.
Like it's real. So
man,
it's a love-hate thing with Simpsons, man.
Yeah, I work at a mental health hospital part-time, and I was a teacher for 2 years, and I actually worked this past Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I did a little 8-hour shift on top of my full-time 8-hour job, so 16 hours, and I'm like, man, I'm sitting here in this tiny-ass hallway while these kids sleep. I ain't never been in jail, never been in prison, but it's designed like a prison. Like, it's small, it's compact, it's cold. Me and another staff, I'm like, we walk around like I'm a CEO. Like I got inmates in here, and I'm like, man, this is sitting there thinking about when you have time to think to yourself. This shit is designed. It's not for us, but it's designed like a prison, like school systems.
Control.
Schools and prisons. School to prison pipeline is real. Like that shit is real, and it's sad that in 2025 we still have that same mindset, and we're still thinking like that. But we have to think like that because it's what y'all put in our face. It's what y'all put in our communities. Like
But and again, how you said like the small rooms, you'll see that in kind of every system. Jail cells, small. Sometimes the rooms in our barracks were small.
Yeah.
So I mean, classrooms a little bit bigger, but when it comes to more different education, they're small.
And the lineup in the classroom, the single file line, all that is system based. To where when I was teaching, well, I don't do line up behind in the desk straight lines. I put everybody in a circle. And reason for putting everybody in a circle is power. Everyone's voice is heard. Everyone is seen. Everyone has their own story to tell. And everyone will be able to learn in their own way. I'm not going to sit in the desk for 4 to 5 hours throughout the day. We're going to get up and move. We're going to go outside. I'm going to change the environment. We might read a book, but I'm hands-on. We might go play kickball doing a math game. Like, we might go, actually we might do it. I'm big on ADLs, and people don't know ADLs are assistant daily living for those that need more support, more guidance. So I might stop class. We might be in the middle of reading a chapter. All right. Stopping class, hygiene time. And the mental health hospital I worked at, the kids go to school there and they live there 24/7 until it's time for them to discharge, which is like a prison. It's time for you to leave, and your time is up. So you're here for a certain amount of treatment time, and if you don't improve, you're going to be here longer. If you do improve, you can go home, or you can go to foster care, or you can go to a group home. And I stop what I'm doing. We go do hygiene. A lot of these young men, unfortunately, they that some of them are on the spectrum, some of them are a lot of behavior. 15, 16, don't know how to bathe properly. So I'm the type of teacher. I'm gonna roll my sleeves up, put my gloves on, have another staff stand at the door. All right, let's get to it. I'm gonna show you how to properly bathe. Do everybody know that? You take care of everything else. That's how you properly bathe. And then you can do it yourself. I'll show you how to wash your clothes, clean your room, wipe your bed down. Doing those things because you might not get that love at home. You might not have a home to go to, so you might not be able to do that. And unfortunately, a lot of these kids are repeat offenders. So the kids I'm working with now, their mental status sometimes it can be fixed. Those are the same people that you see homeless on the street, same people that I work with at Grady now. And that's how the system is built. And it's sad that we do it that way. And then, we medicate these kids. We falsely diagnose these kids, or we under-medicate these kids. And these are the young men that we see in and out of jail, young men and women we see on the streets asking for money. And a part of me was like, man, go get a job. But they don't have the resources to get a job. They don't have the understanding to read and write because they've been pushed away so far.
And it's like, here goes some flowers. Like, you doing good work out here,
Appreciate
man.
that.
This is like,
thank you, man.
A lot of people wouldn't care to do it because they would see a different person as less than. It's just like, why spend the time to help you out and bring you up? But it takes a real good soul to want to care for someone who needs that kind of help. And you're speaking on autism, right? So if you take us into the world of autism, because I have I don't want to say background. I tried to do a program before, and I read a book. What was that book called? Maybe it was a Sunshine Program. It was well, the gist of the book was this family had a child, I think 2 kids or a child that had autism, and they were trying to see if they could, I guess, heal the child from it. So the program that they did, I mean, from the book, it said it worked. Like, they had the child a strict schedule every day with all the sensory stuff and this and that. The child was nonverbal. At the end of it, he was speaking, he was walking, he was recognizing. So they put that book out, and it led me to a friend who has another business dealing with autism. So I went to participate, and this family had a child. They had the whole downstairs made out for him, but it was like the two-way windows kind of.
Right. Yeah.
That was,
Keep it safe.
Kinda,
I get it.
But yeah, the two-way window. But with him, what I figured out about kids with autism or people in general, they are very smart.
Extremely smart. A lot of your Fortune 500 companies, people have autism or people are on some sort of spectrum or have some form of special need. Extremely smart. They just don't
blew my mind.
Don't learn the way everyone else learns. They don't learn the way normalized people learn.
Exactly. And I found that out through that. It was just, I mean, of course I knew of it, but I didn't know about the world inside. So when I went down there with him, they had how he expressed himself or whatever it was a dry erase boards and it had numbers and maybe colors. You could ask this kid a mathematical equation and he answered it.
That, yeah.
And I wouldn't
square,
even know where
like,
to start to answer that.
And we didn't been to school. Yeah.
Exactly. He was nonverbal, but this kid was a mathematician. And I was like, man,
I didn't seen a lot of nonverbal kids and just people in general are some of the most beautiful souls. I believe that every working human and a working adult should work with children, work with individuals on the spectrum, and specifically nonverbal people, because it teaches you how to control your emotions and control your patience. It teaches you how to interact with people in your daily life, man, woman, or whomever. It teaches you your self-identity. You can go in any workforce once you work with children with autism or children that are nonverbal, and you'll thrive because it gives you that understanding of they're dealing with this and they're able to do this and do that. I don't have no excuse. I'm fully capable and able and can speak. This person can't speak, but they're a mathematician. They can do everything under the sun that you think they can't do. They can do. Yeah, man, let's get into it. So come on, let's do it.
But it started off, and what I learned kind of at the end of that reading that book, I want to say it was called the Sunshine Program. Like, reading that book.
And you said they got rid of it?
Yes, like the kid was cured from. I don't know if cured is the word, but everything he's totally switched because they stuck to it every day, and then another family heard about it and they brought their child in, and the same thing happened to their child. Okay. It's a movie, not a movie, but it's a documentary about it as well. The family who actually did it.
Okay. Send that to me for sure.
I got you. I think I still have. I got the book at home, but that led me to see at the end of that program and then volunteering with the child with autism, the world kind of isn't made for people with disabilities. It's not. Like, say if they want to go to an amusement park, besides handicap parking,
the noise, the sound, the lights, the overload of sensory of too many people, overwhelming, that's a lot for individuals on the spectrum.
And get into that first, right? So saying that the world's not made for kids with disabilities, right? Whatever it may be, the spectrum, kind of explain what that means in detail.
So for me, which is also, I created a coloring book called "Seeing the World Through a Different Lens."
You can't name it.
And I have one of my tattoos right here. It's a camera piece, and it's the front cover of my book, and it says "Seeing the World Through a Different Lens." And that reason is because these individuals see the world through a different lens. People think autism is a disease. Autism is not a disease. It's not something you can cure. It's a character trait. 9 times out of 10, autism is a social construct. In my opinion, is you have nonverbal individuals, you have people that are verbal. You have people that don't like being around large crowds. You got people that like being around large crowds. You have people that have sensory, people that like touching stuff, people that don't like touching stuff, people that are organized, routine. It's not a disease. It's a character trait. It's in you. I find it as a beauty. I find it as a superpower and a gift, because someone who is neurodiverse, who has autism, can teach someone who's so-called general a lot of things about themselves. A lot of things without saying any words at all. I can teach you about you without saying anything at all. That says a lot. I can teach you about you as a person without you even talking. If you sit around me as a child and see certain behaviors, you'll learn a lot about you. You're gonna know if you built for this or you're not built for this. And I take my hats off to parents who have individuals on any spectrum, whether it's dementia, whether it's Down syndrome, autism. Those parents deserve an extra bag of flowers, because being a so-called regular parent is hard, but having a child on the spectrum, that shit ain't easy. It's tough. I know parents that have been evicted out of their houses and apartments because people complain because their child is making noise. They can't talk, but they can scream, they can shout. That's how they verbalize. A lot of people that are nonverbal, speak off body language, social cues. And social cues are, touch, being able to draw, being able to do things to where I can't physically tell you. And in the book, one of the first pages in my book, it says, I'm going to show you real quick. So right here, it says, a kid with special gifts taught me love needs no words. And the next page is, who teaches you love? And I put that there because a lot of the children that I work with will never be able to tell their parents that they love them. So I ask parents, I ask adults, how can you tell somebody who's nonverbal, how can you show them what love is? What are ways that you can be loved and that person can love you without physically saying it? Because if I say, all right, bro, I love you, have a great day, I appreciate you, you're going to feel that, you're going to see that.
Yeah.
These kids will never be able to tell anyone that. So they have to be, that's the energy feeling. You have to see it, you have to understand it, and you got to be around it to know what that feeling is. And once you're around it, I feel like if you're around someone that is on the spectrum, it'll change your perspective and your mindset as a whole human being. And you will be a lot more, me personally, a lot more softer, a lot more understanding to people. And you can deal with a lot of bullshit where people complain, excuse my language, but people bitch and complain about doing this and doing that. Dog, do you know what this kid goes through? You know what this parent go through? Like, I'm not worried about nothing you got going on when this parent has to deal with this child having a meltdown or having a tantrum because they didn't get this, they didn't get that, or having a meltdown because their mind is telling them one thing. Their mind was moving faster than their body, and they can't already talk. So they're trying to express themselves, but they're having a meltdown because they can't tell you what's going on. They can't tell you that, oh, my stomach is hurting. Or there's a lot of children that I know in the system, their hygiene isn't up to date. So therefore, when they use the bathroom, they can't tell the parent or tell the person that I got to use the bathroom, or hey, it hurts when I pee, or hey, I'm having trouble having a bowel movement. So a lot of them have behaviors, and I picked up on that through the last few years. When a child or an adult, whoever is having a behavior, it's a simple, small thing. They might have had a bathroom accident. They might smell themselves, but they need help bathing. You might have given them some food, and it's a certain food, and that's a big thing that I feel like honestly creates individuals to have a certain superpower, or create certain individuals to develop autism. It's the foods we eat. But that right there is them not being able to say, hey, I don't like this, or hey, this texture, this food is nasty. They're going to scream, they're going to shout, they're going to have an outburst because that's how they communicate. Then society's mind would look at it as that's a problem child, that child is having this or misbehave when that's how they communicate. So.
It's wild. That's the kid. I can't remember his name, but when I worked with him for those few days, like I don't. Is it called tics? Look, I don't think that's the.
It depends. I kind of got to see it. So if he tics, if he has Tourette's, if he's sensory, if he moves like this, or he rocks. If you rock like this, a lot of time you're sensory overload, but you're stimming. So it's called
maybe
stimming.
That's what it is. So
where you're trying to calm yourself down and calm your body down, or you're excited, you're overly excited, but you just can't express it. So therefore, you're going to do certain things. You're going to move. You're going to clap. It just depends on that child's body language.
He had some of those things moving, but he don't think his parents were saying. So if he does that, this and that, what calmed him down was he had to feel something on his feet. So for him, it was a foot massage. So and again, like doing that, of course, coming in my mind, I always go to any situation with an open mind, but it just still that's a humbling moment. Like, wait a minute. So you telling me that I have to massage his feet to calm him down, but it's a humbling moment because it's like as well all day he's running around downstairs with no socks on, whatever. His feet may be dirty, but you have to be
it's that right there. A lot of people don't realize either. Not to cut you off.
Good.
People with autism, it's the texture thing. So I have kids that only wear the same gray sweats every day. They might get the same color, buy the same color, but a lot of them don't like socks. A lot of them only wear certain shoes with certain soles. But a lot of them like walking barefooted because they can't stand flat-footed. They have to stand on their heels and their toes because it's a sensory thing that triggers from the bottom of their heel to the top of their brain. And people don't realize that we have endorphins on our body. So something is triggering. They're almost like when adults, it's like a dopamine to where it stimulates your body. And when you walk like that, so it's the same thing. And you said something real quick that kind of, and it's like a healthy trigger to where I'm gonna let you finish because I'm gonna
No, you good.
I'm gonna get my thoughts right.
Like, it humbles you to see, like, no matter what that kid came with, if you're there for them, you taking care of that child. Like, and it just made me see, like, when we got it, I guess you can say, not guess, have it better to be able to operate within our own will. But when you have to take care of somebody else, it just shows you, like, man, have some care in this world and have a heart. Because most people look at it and like,
afraid or scared or
like,
so
what?
That's what it is right there. The touch. You married. When you do you rub your lady's feet or does she rub yours?
Yeah.
Okay. How does that shit make you feel?
Amazing.
You feel me? So imagine a kid with autism. When you have a child with autism, I picked this up when I worked back home. I had a kid scream, aggressive, punch on me, spit, bite. I done been bit, kicked, shit in my beard. But I had a woman staff come help me. She has nails. When a woman has nails, and most men know this, when a woman got nails, she rub the back of your hair, playing that beard, all that. Boy, you like a kid. You relaxed. So imagine putting your mind in a child with autism when she take them nails or she rub your feet, and you're a child. It calms you down. It's called sensory. It's called sensory squeezes. So when you squeeze here, when you have children that are head banging. And they're having a temper tantrum. If you squeeze here, right here, you squeeze here, or the frontal lobe of your brain here, it'll calm your brain and your body down and relax and release the stress and endorphins on your body. When you squeeze in your wrist, or you here, or if you hug, bear hug, like people think it's aggressive, but it's not though, because a lot of individuals with those superpowers are some of the strongest individuals you will ever meet in your life. You can have a bodybuilder right here that can lift 400 pounds. And you got this kid. Boy, I have a kid, when I say he's skinny as all day, and their legs are strong and will toss you like a rag doll, like they have a superpower and they have a strength that they can't control. We can control our strength. And kids and adults with autism, they can't control their strength.
That's wild.
So it's a lot of it's sensory, and a lot of it's it ain't hard to work with. Like that touch right there, the foot massage from a young man, it's relaxing to him. It's calming him down.
Because when I tell you, he immediately just came back to a point, got back on the board, putting little pieces where it's supposed to go. He was cool.
That's all he needed. And that's like us when we working, when we overload, we overwhelmed. Some people go take a smoke break. Some people sit down, drink water, have a snack. Some people do meditation. Like we need that time, just kind of decompress. That's his decompress. That's his time to gather his thoughts in his mind, because his mind is moving faster because he can't communicate. His body's moving fast. That's him to relax and just, reset, recharge. All right, let's get back to it.
Yeah, so just to say that, to top it off, moments like that, like you said, it'll make you just realize, like, man.
It'll humble you.
Humble yourself. Have some grace for people who may not be able to function what you may, quote unquote, say is regular.
Who learn different, who look different, who sound different. It's okay to look, learn, and sound different. I put a quote on the back of my book, and it's I'm gonna read it for you. That way, I'll get it accurate. So I said, my calling on this earth is to give love to all, as it takes a special person to managing their patience and controlling their emotions, to work with children with special gifts and superpowers. Every human being on this earth has their own superpower and gift. It might not be your parent or your family member to bring it out of you, but it's going to take a patient and special person to bring it out of you and show you that you are worthy and that you have a gift. Because everyone at the end of the day wants to do one thing, is be loved. Everyone wants to go home at night. Everyone wants to be around their family, be around their loved ones. But sometimes you have people that should not be a parent, unfortunately, but you create these children that have these so-called special needs. They don't get the same nourishment. A lot of my kids that I work with at this facility, their parents give up their rights. So
as far as being a parent to the child?
So they give up their rights. So they're for a child in the system. Or these kids have too many behaviors, and their parents call in, you got them now, and give them all the medicine you need. I don't want to do nothing to deal with them.
And they just, like, drop their child off, not saying, well, maybe forget about them, but...
No, like, they don't call no more, they don't check, and them kids are in the system until they find a parent or home or foster care that wants them, because a lot of parents are overwhelmed. Some parents can't deal with it. Some parents should not be parents. Some people who make babies should not be a parent because they don't know what comes with it. Then when you get a child that's on a spectrum or that has autism, and you're not educated or you don't have the proper resources, I don't fault you for that. It's just there's other ways of going about it. But sometimes when you put your child into this foster home or this group home or this facility, do your research. A lot of these facilities, and in Georgia, I would say, because Georgia is very behind, and the lack of funding that they have out here in Georgia is like they don't pay staff enough, but they don't. support these kids enough. And there's some money in this game. Like a lot of these people get thousands, tens of thousands of dollars for one child per day while you're at this facility, while you're at this group home. So the money coming is just, you got to pay people what they're worth to take care of these kids, because we're the only male and female figure that are going to be around these children until they age out, because they don't have a parent or they don't have a home to go to. And a lot of people, you got to put that in your mindset. Like, damn, I get to go home. This child hasn't been home. This child has never slept in a bed, a real bed.
Outside of these walls.
They slept in a cot. Feel me?
Yeah, that's crazy. Like you say, it's some parents who don't need to be parents, but that's just sad to know that some folk, they really just...
I hadn't had people call into meetings, and we talk about certain things and how the kids doing this and that. Oh, well, you know that child better than me. Go ahead, do what you gotta do. And then when the child's not in the room, they'll let us know, like, hey, I want to give them my rights. And I'm like, damn, like that? But you out here making more kids and more babies? But you afraid because this child has a superpower that it's too much for you? You shouldn't be why you still making kids then if you can't take care of one, let alone 4?
That's wild, bro.
Yeah.
That's brought something new. I mean, I knew about group home and stuff like that nature, but to this depth, that just shocked me. Like,
and I say Georgia because coming from California where the money is good and I've seen people get paid the right way, there's money in this mental health field. A lot of it is just things have to be done properly, and you have to have proper management, proper rules and regulations and guidelines. But you have to have people that care, that want to work with these kids. Because, like I said, a lot of these parents aren't really parents; they're just people who make kids.
That's wild, bro. That's wild. So, but with that, right, we're gonna bounce around real quick. So, with this book, Seeing the World Through a Different Lens, and it's a color and activity book for children with special needs. On a path of being an author and creating this book, I mean, I can kind of already know what led you to creating it, but just give me the backstory and the process of becoming an author and then creating this book here.
So we were in COVID, and I was taking care of my grandfather, like I spoke earlier, as his caregiver full time in the middle of my master's program, and I was like, you know what, I need something to keep my mind busy. California weed is legal, so I was smoking at the time, and I wanted to stop smoking, and I work out a lot, but I was like, I want to do something to keep my mind busy and make some money as well. My mom was like, well, why don't you do a YouTube podcast? I'm like, I love podcasts. I watch them all the time, but how am I going to make some money doing this? And I'm like, I'm a hands-on person. I'm a touch person, and I have a lot of tattoos. I was like, you know what? Let me talk to my tattoo artist. My mom was like, why don't you do a book? I was like, all right, I'm going to do a coloring and activity book. I haven't seen one before. I haven't seen one represented for individuals with special needs. It's a coloring and activity book. Not just a book that you read, but it's an activity book. I have sign language in there in English and Spanish. I have a number chart in English and Spanish to teach people how to do numbers and how to spell a name by doing sign language if you can't talk. I have a communication device, AAC, which is a communication device for individuals that are nonverbal. It's like a tablet. And instead of them talking, they can type, I want what they want, or they can hit an image, and the image will speak what they want. A lot of times that device doesn't speak in complete sentences because when you realize with kids on the spectrum, you got to get straight to the point. Don't talk too much. Don't say too many words. If they want to use the bathroom, usually we'll say, hey, bro, can I use the restroom? Or I'm going to go use the bathroom. They're just going to say, bathroom. And that's how it'll communicate, okay, I got to use the bathroom. But I have that in there. I have positive affirmations in there for young black boys and girls and brown kids, I would say. Just showing some representation for our community, for black and brown kids, but individuals that learn different, they look different, they sound different. Because everyone thinks that, would they try to treat them that way? Like you said earlier, a lot of these kids are smart as hell. They can teach you, they can take this apart and do this and do that until I take us 2 hours to 5 minutes. But that showed me that everyone has their own gifts, everyone has their own learning styles. It's just how you want to teach them. So this book, man, people keep asking me, I published it. It's been out for 2 years. I created my own website. I don't have an Amazon just because I feel like right now, me creating my own website is teaching me. I taught myself how to create my website, do certain things from YouTube University. So
there we go.
I'm like, why not? You feel me? And this is my baby, man. It's my passion. I'm probably not going to make another book. I'm going to expand on doing certain things with this book. But my book hasn't touched every child and every adult in the world. It's not just for kids. It's for adults as well. And no, you do not have to have autism or be on a spectrum or have special needs. This book can teach you. I've had 35-year-old grown men say, damn, I never knew my learning style, but this book taught me what my learning style is when it comes to auditorial, kinesthetic. So yeah, man, I'm super excited about this book. I want to, and I'm going to figure out how to get it in multiple schools out here in Georgia. Have multiple libraries. I do different events in the community. I'm actually going to a Black Male Summit in Alabama next week.
That's dope.
And I'm presenting my book and just talking to the young men about mental health and how to see the world through a different lens, because everyone's lens is different.
That's a fact. Now that I just seen this, the first thing when I open this book, the thank you card, the 42, there's a story behind that.
Yeah.
I don't think you touched on that.
I did not.
What's the history behind
42?
The story behind the power of 42? Feel me if I even read it. I got a person here.
42 is, I was born on 4/2 at 642 in room 2442. Yeah. My apartment number we came home to is 1942. My dad's college football number was 42. My college football number is 42. And I got 42 tattooed on my arms because everyone knows 4/2, or if you don't know, 4/2 is Autism Awareness Day.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I was put on this earth for a reason. God placed me here for a reason. And my passion and my calling is to work with adults and kids on all spectrums. It's to teach them that they have a superpower and a gift. I'm gonna be that person. Tupac said it best. I might not be the individual that sparked that, but you feel me? Y'all know the quote.
Yeah, I know the quote.
You feel me?
And change,
I feel crazy. Like, I'm here for a reason. God gave me a second chance at life. 10% is a low chance of living. I'm not supposed to be here, but I'm here.
That's why I saw it. Now that just made me understand and see, because most people would take them years and years, but and are truly walking in your purpose.
Bro, yeah. And it took me a while, but I learned that I don't have to just be in a classroom to work with individuals on the spectrum. I don't have to just be a teacher. Being a teacher was cool. It was fun. But my goal is to travel around the world and speak at different events, childcare centers, present and create workshops for kids, adults, parents, and police officers on how to engage with individuals on the spectrum, how to interact when individuals need behavior management. A lot of times it's not that this child has this diagnosis, but it's a behavior thing. And keep everything inclusive. Being inclusive is creating everyone. Whether it's black, white, blue in the face, transgender, gay, whatever the case may be, being inclusive and giving everyone that same equity, not just equality, because a lot of people mistaken those things. Everyone's not equal. Everyone does not have the same equity, but yeah, you have equality. Okay. Equality is, I seen a picture this morning. Equality is, I got a 7-footer up here who can see over this fence. I got a girl standing over a box who can barely see over the fence. I got a kid in a wheelchair who can't see over the fence. They got equality, they have the opportunity to, but the equity is this person's 7 foot, he don't need a box. He can see over that fence. This lady has a box, she can see over the fence, same height as him. The kid in the wheelchair has a higher box, he can see over the fence. That's equity. I want to create equity and equality.
That's beautiful, dog. That's beautiful, man. Hey, so it's very rare when you meet somebody and they ask you, say no, and they're operating and moving on purpose.
Man, I keep it on me. I wear it on me. People ask me all the time, like, damn, you always wear your clothes and wear your logo. Yeah, because I know who I am. I know what my purpose is. And it's an artist from the Bay, which is Oakland, California, called Simba. And it was a lyric that he said, this dude basically, I'm going to break it down because I ain't no rapper. He basically said, you got your own clothing brand, but you wearing Dior and Louis. Why would I want to buy my clothing brand? Why would I want to buy your clothing brand from you when you're not even wearing it? You want to wear Gucci and Louis because that's the trend, but you're not wearing what you're trying to sell me.
Man.
Come on, man. Keep it on you. It's not just in you, but it's on you. Keep it on you and it's in you. Come on now. Why not? You feel me?
Yeah. How everybody else going to believe in it if you don't even believe in it?
Come on now.
You choose side.
Yeah. I keep my books on me. I keep my hats on me. Whatever clothes I make prior to, the coloring book, because I had a clothing brand called The Flavor Shack, but I realized it was cool. It was fun. But I want to make fashionable streetwear for individuals on the spectrum. So, which is why I created the hat with the camera logo. And people think, oh, well, some people are offended because of the puzzle piece.
But why would they be offended because of the puzzle
Because
piece?
it's so-called special needs, or it's a label, or it's in, like, I've gotten uninvited from conferences to not speak because people are offended by the puzzle piece. And the puzzle piece, to me, personally, is bringing people together. You're putting the pieces to your life and pieces to your puzzle together. Yeah, it's the symbol for autism or symbol for special needs. Okay, cool, but it shouldn't offend you because at the end of the day, everyone has their own puzzle to put, or everyone has their own piece to put in their puzzle.
I never knew that could be seen as an offense. I always thought
I didn't, or like the handicap thing, or it's a disability. Like not every disability or not every person with a special need is visible. You can't see it sometimes. Just like you can look at me and think, oh, you perfect. You have this and that going. You got all these degrees. Ain't nothing wrong with you. I mean, I was born at 6 months. I didn't mention that earlier. I was born at 6 months instead of 9. So therefore, my brain is not fully developed. I got a master's degree. I play college football. So therefore, I'm not going to let any label hinder me. I'm going to use that, and I'm going to be that dog and keep working and get to it. And I'm going to show these kids and these babies that you have a gift and a superpower. I'm going to bring it out of you. If no one else will, I'm going to help that. I'm going to help you turn that light on.
That's a fact. And I got to talk to my wife about it. I didn't just see if she knew. Like, I didn't know that Postfields did that, but you're passionate about what you got going on.
You feel me, man?
I love it, man.
Yeah,
like you in it.
Definitely connect me with her, man. Because we can definitely make something shake, man. I want to do more in community, more local libraries. I want to get my book in just the hands of the right people. I'm not worried about getting my hands of celebrities and all that. Because at the end of the day, every person I come across is a celebrity. You're a celebrity, if that's what we're gonna call it. I'd rather be. No, what's this word nowadays? People want to be influencers. I don't believe in being an influencer. I believe in being a impact changer, a leader. An impact changer is more powerful than an influencer. Because I can give you some game that'll change your life. This person give you some game that, okay, cool, and what? Then what? I'm going to give you a game that's going to change your perspective.
You can keep that with you for years.
You feel me?
Legacy, man.
Come on, man. That's that legacy, man. That's that DNA.
It's a lot. Like, you taught me a lot. Like, it's just being able to bounce off of each other and hearing experiences, and of course getting more info on the autism works. Again, for myself, I've always been placed in that realm, but in small pieces, just about friends, my wife, just that experience there. But I've just been interested into it. But just hearing other folks' stories, especially yours and your background, it's beautiful, man. Like,
I think everybody, me personally, and people can say what they want. I think every person, including humans, us in here, I think everybody's on the spectrum. I think everybody has a form of autism in them because it's just a social construct of things they like, things they don't like, organization. Like, everyone has some form of inability within them.
How they say my OCD.
Because like people think I got OCD because I'm a clean freak. I like stuff a certain way. Like, I'm just a grown man who likes to be clean. Like, I'm gonna keep my car clean, keep myself clean, keep my house clean. Like, why not? I don't like to be dirty. They can say OCD. That's cool. I'll be all the labels you want to put on me. That's cool. That's fine. But I know who I am. A lot of people, mask themselves. A lot of people wear masks. I know I have tattoos, but a lot of people get tattoos, wear jewelry, diamonds, and all this and that. And a lot of times it's just us in our community, but we do that because we try to impress the next person. And a lot of times dudes try to impress their homie or stun on somebody. When you try to impress this female, she don't really want you anyways. And if she did, she'll take you without it. She'll take you riding the bus rather than you trying to take this car that you can't pay the note on. Like, come on, man.
And that's why I said earlier,
I'm driving a Honda before I'm driving a Benz.
Hey, man, especially if it's paid off, too.
You feel me? Come on now.
Debt, none of that. Yeah. That's why I said earlier, like with the pod, why I get origin stories, because, again, people show up with a mask on. It's like,
ain't no mask. You're going to see me real raw and rugged, and I don't care if you got President Obama in here. I don't care if you got a pastor in here. I'm going to speak how I speak and talk how I talk because I'm going to change your perspective and change your mind and give you some game.
Because you're going to forever be you. Yeah. So if you put that mask on and people attach to that one moment they see you for who you really are, it's like,
who is this?
Right.
When that's who you really are.
And you enjoy it, you love it. Yeah. So
not?
That's beautiful, man. But before we get up out of here, right, like I always ask my guests, but I don't even know you probably know, guarantee you got something to say, but you gave it right.
My bad. Like I was talking, dog.
That's the whole goal.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
It's value and gems in this, whether like somebody
gonna need it, somebody gonna want it.
Somebody's gonna need it.
So some parent is gonna need the tools and strategies. And by the way, outside of where y'all can follow me at, y'all can go to my website, inclusivevision42.org, and book a service. If you need a consultation, if you need your child to be worked with, that don't have to be on a spectrum. If you have a child, a young man, a young woman, need some positive advice, come holler at me. I do parent trainings, conferences, workshops. If you're a teacher, or educator, or principal, and you want me to come to your school, come holler at me. I'm definitely open to, all the bookings and consultations. So let's make it happen.
Yeah, you gonna get it done. But if you can, before you leave, right?
Yes, sir.
Leave the audience with a gem, some motivation, whatever it may be, whether it's dealing with autism, mental health awareness, whatever it is. But I could say some kids, some adult, somebody's gonna watch this and they may need that to give them the spark to get up, get after it, or seek help or seek change. But if you can, if one thing and leave them with, or more than one, let them know what it is.
Just know I love you. People around you love you. And if they don't, the men in this room love you. I'm going to give you your flowers while you can smell them, while you can breathe them, while you can plant them. It's okay to ask for help. As far as mental health, it's okay to go to therapy. It's okay to talk to somebody. All therapy doesn't exist in an office and talk to a so-called shrink. This is therapy right here. We shedding gyms, talking, giving game, breaking bread, having conversation. That's a form of therapy. Getting a haircut for all men is a form of therapy. Boy, because I can't tell you how many times I done fell asleep in that chair and just relax your mind and your body. Like, that's a form of therapy. It's okay to need some support. Drop your ego, put your pride aside. For parents, when someone is willing to give you those gems and that resource, please take it. If you don't, ask for it. There's a lot of regional sources out here that provide free services for that child. A lot of people, I don't want my kid on an IEP and all that. We as black people need to stop complaining and take advantage of that, because you have an IEP and get you through college. You can get a check for it and get you sources that'll help you through life. It'll help you with house. You have certain sources that can help you for your first housing payment. Kids on autism can fly for free. Like, there's a lot of things that comes with that people don't know about. And like I said, I'm open. Y'all can follow me at Inclusive Vision 42. My website is Inclusive Vision 42. InclusiveVision42.org. I'm willing to give the game. I'm not going to charge you for it. I do charge for certain services as far as workshop and stuff, but I'm not going to charge you to give you no free game. Like, it's a conversation. Why not? So.
Facts, man. But again, brother, I want to thank you for coming here. Like you say, you shared a lot of light, a lot of gems. Yes, I'm excited for this episode.
Man.
So it's jam packed. But once again, y'all, this is Inherited Podcast. Make sure y'all follow the podcast at Inherited Podcast. That's NHERITD Podcast. Follow me across the board at Sir Gates BC. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, and then again, make sure you check the book out. See the world through a different lens.
Yeah.
So it's a valuable book. So don't be ashamed to get it. Don't be afraid to get it. If you know somebody who need it, get it and get it to them. Get it in their hands. So once again, it's Inherited Podcast. I'm your host, Sir Gates, powered by Gates 7 Studios. And the last thing, make sure you guys go to my IG and join the About Your Life channel. It will be migrating to a different platform, but as of now, join the channel. Right, we're giving a whole bunch of value. Have more challenges coming up, and I want to see this community grow and help as many people as I can possible. So make sure y'all tap in and lock in. Until next time, we'll see y'all.
Appreciate y'all. Let's do it.